Today, I'm going to show you how to build and automate anything with AI. And this is based on what's working for me and my community. We're basically going to do a live Q&A and answer some of the most um, and best questions inside the AI Profit Boardroom. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, we're going to get straight into this. So one of the first questions we have from Maddie here is, okay, what's your best prompt for writing articles with AI? And I'm going to show you some of the best ways that we typically use this. Now, if we actually have a look at juliangoldie.com, let's pull this up. Here we go. Right. And you can see the traffic going up quite nicely over here. So this is the traffic. We pull these reports up. This is just what works for us. Right. And so how are we creating these articles for this website? Right. So if we check out juliangoldie.com, we've got the blog section. And then you can see that we are creating a lot of content with AI, and it actually ranks pretty well. So if you're wondering, okay, like how does this work, how to use it, etc., I'm going to break this down step by step. So the way that we'll typically do this is we'll grab a keyword from Google first of all, right? So let's say, for example, you're thinking about creating an article with AI. So the first place you want to start is focus on the keyword. So if we have a look at this one, for example, this is targeting the keyword AI coding workflow. So let's have a look. There we go. Yeah, so you can see it on the auto suggest here. This is typically how we'll pick a keyword before we create the article. Once you've actually picked the keyword, which is a crucial part of the process, then you're going to go over to Claude, like so, and you just take the idea, the video, or the transcript, whatever you want to generate this, right? So, for example, if we go to the video section and we'll grab a script from this video, we'll take that. Copy that, go to Claude here. So we take the transcript, and then from here, what we're also going to do is we are going to grab a prompt from the AI Profit Boardroom. So if we go inside the classroom here, then we're going to go to Playbook, then we'll scroll down to automating videos to blog posts, like you can see. And from here, we're going to grab this prompt. We'll take that, and then we'll go over to Claude, paste this into Claude, and we're going to put keyword equals, right? Now, for example, if this is a keyword targeting Notebook LM, right? If this is an article about Notebook LM, then we're going to take one from the list here. So, for example, we might target something like update, right? Or let's have a look here, automation. Yeah, we could go for Notebook LM podcast automation. That would be quite an easy one, right? Which we're actually already ranking for 3 times on the first page of Google using this method, right? So what you can do from here is you put in your keywords, so Notebook LM podcast automation. Then you're going to click enter. And from here, we can start automating the article. Here we got here. So we got the AI change. Good to see here. Basha or Julian, good to see you. Dog named Sam. What up, Julian? Great stuff. All right, so we got some cool people here. And then you can see this is beginning to create the article like you can see, right? So what we did was take the transcript from the video. Again, you can plug in your idea. It could be a tweet, could be a social media post, could be some ideas from other people, or even like an AI view from, you know, audio from Claude, sorry. And then on the right-hand side here, we've got the pasted content. So we can say create 5 fairly short, attention-grabbing headlines, Alex Moses style. When I paste my video, write part 1 of the blog article, then you're going to write part 2 later. Each part must look at new angles, different perspectives, and add more value. The reason that we want to do that is like, otherwise what you do is you'll get a very repetitive article that isn't useful to anyone. Then from there, don't label it as part 1 or part 2 or talk about that, etc., because the content will be copy and paste, so we don't need notes on that, right? So you don't need to say like part 1 and then part 2. We also don't want too many bullet point lists. So one of the problems that I see with these AI generated articles is that quite often they have too many bullet points. And then also we'll aim for about 2,000 words per article, right? The reason that we want about 2,000 words per article is just so that we cover the article in enough depth, and then no keyword until we tell you the keyword, right? And then from here, we're going to include the keyword inside the headings naturally. It must feel natural and conversational throughout. Include the keyword throughout the content. Front load the keywords in the title, right? So, for example, AI agent coding workflow is the keyword, and we'll front loaded it in the title. And then from here, you can keep going. and then you can keep going like so, right? Um, Now, as we go through this, you can also see like the most important words are bolded. It's also got like relevant semantic keywords to it as well. But that's basically what we do, and that's how we create the articles. So I'm just going to give this video breakdown inside the air profit boarding missing answer. Let's copy that. And we'll give that to Maddie. Great question, Maddie. All right, so you know how to create these AI articles, some good articles for writing it, etc. So I'm just going to paste the video tutorial here. And then for the prompt itself, let me grab that. And then also the cool thing about this is like it's all customized to you and your business, right? So you can see here we've got links to our funnels, we've got information about us, what we do, etc., which is important too. So let's grab that prompt and we shall share that inside the AI profit boarding. And if you're watching, if you have any questions about AI, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I'll keep covering questions inside the AI profit boardroom. But that is method number one. Let's see what else we got here. It's pretty crazy. Vladimir, 300 downloads in 4 days, reached number one in AI for his top 3 books, which is pretty insane. Look at that. Loads of downloads right there. What else we got? So meeting with a client, okay. We met with a potential client today. He's in the corrections industry. I created a program for the staff, which they didn't have, point-based system, create infographics. How should I go about introducing the program? All right. So usually I'll show you how we usually approach this. And there's some templates inside the AI profit boarding agency section. So if you go inside the classroom here, and then you're going to go to agency, and then you're going to go to the sales mastery stuff, and you'll check out the create sales proposal section here. I actually got a template for using this, but essentially inside this is how we propose it to clients, right? So when we're selling to clients, we create a proposal like this, and it'll break down, okay, here's what we do, here's how it works, here's the process, etc. And so you explain how it works, what you do, and then when it comes to actually offering the pricing and that sort of thing, here's an example, right? So we'll just break it down into a simple table with the examples of like how much it costs and what the pricing is. Now, the goal really is to like productize, right? So for example, if you're offering like info products and that sort of thing, well, then you can go into Claude like so, right? We'll take this copy like this, go into Claude, and then we can say, okay, create 3 packages plus a breakdown in a table plus pricing of what we could charge for this. And then from here, we can basically get a breakdown of what we're doing, what we could charge, what you get, etc. Right? And then you can put it into a nice little table like this. Right? And you just break down like the components of what's included in the package. Package 1 includes this, package 2, package 3. Usually people are just going to go for the middle package. And then also in terms of the pricing, like you want to figure out, okay, what's the client's budget, right? So before anyone books a call in with our agency, we'll always try and get the information on what's their budget first so that we can, make sure they get the right pricing or the right practice, the right package options and that sort of thing. But essentially the main goal here is like give them 3 options, productize it so they know exactly what they get, compare the options in a nice table, and then just make it easy to make a decision, right? You can even say, for example, I don't think you need this, it's not powerful enough. I don't think you need this, it's too much. Okay, go with package 2. And that way you can easily create a package for your clients, productize it, and start, selling the program and that sort of thing. So what I'm going to do over here is we are going to just share this. Oh, you can't share on Claude. Okay, great. So if we just take that. There we go. So we've broken down how you do it and then how you can approach it inside Claude. But yeah, basically we just break it down in a quick proposal so it's easy to see. What else we got here? SEO ranking also work for other languages. Yeah, 100%. We've actually worked with a lot of clients in different languages when it comes to AI SEO. One of the cool things is like you can, I'm going to show you this case study. So this was actually a website that we built as a fun case study. And if we check the site out here, here's the site. And you can see that previously it went from like 0 to this amount of traffic using AI SEO. I think we actually used auto blogging AI for using this. And you can see the traffic here. So it's a brand new site in German. We set it up, it went from 0 all the way up here. We automated all the articles in German, and then we actually got ChatGPT to do the keyword research based on another site that was a competitor in the same niche. And so like AI SEO, whether you're doing it in German, whether you're doing it in English, etc., it works really well. The other cool thing here as well is like if you're building backlinks to a website in German or any sort of language like that, there's a lot less competition because most of these foreign sites, they don't know how to build backlinks and they don't know where to start, and there's a lot less options, right? Whereas if you build English backlinks to a foreign website like this, then you can boost its traffic like so, and you'll get bigger and better results than most of your competitors. So that's the way that I would approach it. And then if you want to check if there's demand for that sort of thing, well, you can just go into the Keyword Explorer on Ahrefs and figure it out from there, right? So for example, let's go into ChatGPT and we'll figure this out. All right, so let's say, for example, we're thinking about creating like a bird's website in German, right? What we're going to do is we're going to switch over to Germany here, and then we are going to have a look at this keyword. Now, there's a lot of demand for it, but it's actually pretty hard to rank for it. You need a lot of backlinks and that sort of thing. So what we would do from here is we would just have a look through the list, and we'd see, okay, what do these keywords mean? And then do they have enough search volume, right? So if we have a look, for example, this one gets 13,000 search volume. It means native birds in German. And there's a high traffic potential, plus it's fairly easy to rank for. And so like that's how you can validate if there's enough search volume and that sort of thing. So that's the way that I would approach it. Which AI to create a complex website? So Dylan says, which AI to create a complex website? I'm planning to launch a platform for engineering firms to upload complex part drawings, select materials, receive quotes, blah, blah, blah. Key needs, here's what we need. I've tested Manus. It performed well for analysis. I want no code management of the site. Any platform at all. I'd probably just go with WordPress, honestly. But for actually building it, all right, so if you want an easy way to manage it, like no code management, then I'd use WordPress, right? But if you want to actually just build the website, then you can, I would recommend just using something like Claude Code is pretty good. Yeah, I'd probably go with Claude Code. Let me show you how it works, right? So what you can do here is you can go over to Claude Code like so, right? And then you're going to go to the code section here, click on open. Then you're going to plug in a new folder. So let's just go with this test one like this. Then we're going to say, okay, planning to launch a platform for engineering firms, blah, blah, blah. Key needs, here's what we need. Can you build this out? And then you can actually build this locally as a bigger website. And just start going from there. So it'll ask you, okay, what tech stack you want. From here, you could you can have like a separate back end and front end. So, or you can just say, you know, eventually I want to connect it to WordPress, something like that. How should I handle this? So we can just use mock data, mock database and authentication. We can go with Superbase, right? Which AI features to prioritize for the MVP. So we can just go with that one. And then it's going to create a WordPress compatible app with Superbase for databases and storage of data. It's going to use mock data and an API structure for feeding in real manufacturer stuff later. And then AI for drawing and analysis, right? And then you can see Claude is now beginning to work through the to-do list and it will build out locally. Now, I honestly think like Claude is the best for coding out of everything out there. And then for building a bigger website, that's why I recommend using Claude Code locally, because you can store the files offline, you can store it as a project folder, and then, you know, when you're working on this, you can just go off and allow it to build in the background whilst you're doing something else, right? Whereas, for example, if you have this in a Claude Code chat directly on Claude, it's going to get messier and harder to handle because there's more like files stored locally. So that's the way that I would do it. And then you can also use something like Ralph loop. Let me show you this. So if you're a bit more technical, if you're not technical, don't worry about this stuff. But if you're a bit more technical, you can set up something like Ralph loop. And what this would do is use infinite loops to just build out the website and make it better and better, right? So you can just leave it coding overnight if you want to, and it will just go off and start creating this stuff. But you can see here, it's already beginning to build the website. And then once it's got an MVP, we can actually create and test it. So that's the way that I would approach it. What else we got here? Anderson says, hey man, nice to be here. Talk about Claude skills more. Is there anything specific about Claude skills that you want to use? Or you just interested in learning how you can use it? So basically, Claude skills, it allows you to manage and share skills, right? And basically, one of the best things about this is you can actually go into Claude and you can just automate tasks you regularly do, right? So, for example, and let's go back to the chats here. And earlier we started looking at a way to code and create SEO content, right? So let's find that 1 second. All right. So let's say, for example, we're creating a new offer for our product, right? Something like that, right? Well, what we can do over here is we're just going to go to settings, capabilities inside Claude, and then over here you would allow skills, right? So you're going to turn on code execution and file creation to create skills, and then you're going to add a new skill, right? Now, the way that you can do this, if you go to the chat, let's say, for example, I've got a regular task like this, right? Where I am regularly creating offers for the air profit boarding, right? Well, what I can do from here is I can type in a topic. So I can say, right, okay, save this as a skill called offer building. And what I actually do is based on the previous chat, as you can see right here, it will start to create a skill. And we're just going to start a new chat. As you can see right here. So it's going to create the skill documentation and then start building this out. Now you might say, okay, why would you create Claude skills? Well, number one, saves time because you can save plus create skills at any time. Number two, easier than using projects, right? So if I'm in Claude, like it's way easier to just say, right, okay, use the offer skill to build out a new offer today, right? It's way easier to do that than it is to like navigate to my projects and then click on this and then type it out, right? It's just more efficient. And number three, you can export plus import skills. So you can share with the world, right? So if you actually go into, for example, Claude Skills Marketplace, you'd actually see there's something called skillsmp.com. And this allows you to like share skills with the world, right? And you can actually download other people's. So for example, if you want to get a skill for front-end testing, you can actually just download one of these and then you can import that into Claude. So you can download the zip file here, upload it into Claude and say like, use this as a skill. And you can see how easy it is to create skills as well. So this is creating one right now. And then you can call these at any time. It's actually quite a unique feature as well because you don't get this on ChatGPT or any other platform. Like agent skills is something that makes Claude 10 times more powerful and personalized to you. But you can't really find it anywhere else, right? So that's how I'd recommend it. TMS says, hello, my friend, trying to learn something new. Hopefully this is helping you today. Do you think about the free course on Nvidia? No, I don't know. I would honestly say like for 99% of people, the free courses on Nvidia are probably not going to be that useful. But if you want to get free stuff that's really, really useful for people, that's based on what's working for me, you can check out the AI Success Lab, link in the comments description. This actually shows you like some practical ways to actually apply this stuff to your business, right? With video tutorials, everything. And it's like a free community, connects you with 45,000 members as well. And then you can learn AI for free. So if you want to learn this stuff for free, and you want to find stuff that's actually useful, that's real business owners are actually using, then you can see a lot of the automation workflows I've run through this month directly inside here. Anderson says that's true. So you can initialize them from the chat directly, 100%. Claude Code versus anti-gravity. What would you pick? I would go with Claude Code. Actually, one of the best options. This is what I'd recommend, right? So just for anyone watching, if you're not sure what anti-gravity is, it's an IDE where you can code directly offline for free. And what you can do is you can open up anti-gravity like this. And I like anti-gravity. I think it's really good, but it gets 10 times better if you just open up Claude Code inside anti-gravity. So if you type in Claude inside the terminal here, so you go to terminal, new terminal, plug in Claude, accept the T's and C's, right? And then from here, you can use Claude Code inside your project. That makes anti-gravity way better. Now, if you don't want to pay for Claude Code and you want to do everything for free, then what you can do is you go to extensions and you can actually use open code for this as well, right? So you can use open code directly inside anti-gravity as an IDE. So we'll install that. And then the other one you want to install is client, right? So client allows you to use a lot of free APIs as well. So we can restart that. And root code is another good option too. So for example, if you go to root code here, use your account, finish it up. Just going to log in. All right. And then inside here, you can grab a bunch of free APIs as well, right? The other option is if we go back here, we're going to disable that, install client. So if you go inside client here, you can actually set up skills inside client as well. And you've got the web search inside client here. And then what you can do is you can select one of the free APIs. So for example, that could be like DevStrow, could be Minimax 2.1, etc. Minimax 2.1 is pretty good. And then you can now start coding directly inside anti-gravity using API that doesn't run out of limits, right? And then also, yeah, again, if you want to make Claude Code, if you want to get the best of Claude Code and anti-gravity, then just use Claude Code inside anti-gravity by opening up a new terminal window, like you see. What else we got here? Roger Khan says this is really awesome. Vanessa says thanks for sharing, bro. TMS says thanks for the information. Always happy to help. Glad this is useful. What else you got here? Connor says, hey mate, what's the best tool to make the AI avatars that you use to make yours? All right, so it's not so much about the tools, more about the workflow, right? The better your workflow is, the better results you're gonna get with this stuff, right? Now, if you want a full workflow, go to the classroom inside the AI profit boarding, go to the playbook, and then you can see how we create AI avatar videos with a step-by-step tutorial and a full standard operating procedure. We also got, for example, a method for screen shares. So you'll see in a lot of videos, like we just have a little icon at the bottom, and then we have the screen shares there. So this is the workflow that I recommend for creating AI avatar videos. And honestly, like it's almost impossible at this point for me to get more views with my human videos than it is with my avatar videos. I'll show you some examples, right? So if I create a video about um, Notebook LM, for example, as a human, which you can see right there, we'll get like 2,800 views, right? Which is okay. It's not bad at all. But if you have a look, for example, and you look at our other videos with Notebook LM, the avatar ones will get like, you know, 12K, 11K, etc. Right? So 9.4K there. If I create a video about anti-gravity as a human, I will get, for example, let's sort of look here. I'll get like 2.2K views, as you can see. If I create a avatar video as a for anti-gravity, I will get 9.1K views. Right. And so the avatar tends to outperform me every single time. Now, if you're going to use this, I would recommend that you use HeyGen combined with 11 Labs. Like they're the two best tools for doing this, right? So use HeyGen, like you see right here, and then you combine 11 Labs and the voice inside 11 Labs. If you want a full workflow on that and exactly how it works, step-by-step tutorial, all the prompts and the SOPs that we use, you can get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments and description, or go to arprofitboardroom.com and then go inside the classroom here, go to the playbook, and you can get the full process broken down there. And that's how we get results with the AI avatar. So we've talked about Claude skills, we've talked about AI avatar videos, we've talked about anti-gravity versus Claude and how to integrate Claude into anti-gravity. TMS says, do you have community or Discord? Yeah, so we have the AR Profit Boardroom community. This is an amazing community that comes with 2,100 members, as you can see. And inside there, for example, we have a daily accountability group. I answer all the questions personally. So, for example, if we have a look at this post, you can see my personal answer. I do videos like this as well often, where I'll just break down the answers and help people. And then also inside the classroom here, you can get all of my best workflows, like you see. So you get a community, you get daily accountability, you can connect with me personally. The other thing I like about this as well is like you get a lot of wins. So you can share your wins, share your journey, see what other people are working on, that sort of thing. And it's a super friendly community that's very welcoming to people, right? So, for example, if you have a look here, Clint was sharing his win from a couple of days ago. Like 19 people commented, like congratulating him and saying how awesome he's done. So that's what I like is, people winning and learning together. And that's inside the AI Profit Boardroom community. Link in the comments description. RogerCon says, nice touch on Claude Code versus anti-gravity. How about Claude Code versus Cursor? I'm still going to go with Claude Code. I don't really use Cursor that much, to be honest with you. I find the Claude Code directly is much better. And just Claude in general is a powerful tool. I don't see why people need to use Cursor. I think like you can just build with Claude Code and it's just as easy and fast. And also the fact that you can now open Claude Code inside desktop and you get a nice little UI. I think like that's awesome. That's way better. Let's see what other questions we got here. And if you're watching this and you have a question for me, feel free to post it in the chat whilst we're waiting. As you go along. So Kyle says, anyone use Poppy AI? Honestly, I know a few people that have tested Poppy AI. It's something I've never really talked about on YouTube. I don't like Poppy AI that much. I don't think it's that useful. It doesn't help me that much compared to other stuff. Actually, for example, if you want to automate, for example, like YouTube videos and stuff like that, or YouTube thumbnails, then you can actually use some. You can use AI Studio to build your own, right? So, for example, let me show you an example here. So, if we go to your apps, here's one that we've created. And inside here, we can upload like the face of me, the style that we want to emulate. We describe what we want here, and then we generate the thumbnail. So I tend to find like just building your own custom tools is way better. Justin says, automation's impact on social media reach. Has anyone noticed a positive or negative impact when automating social media posts? So the way that we do it is like semi-automated, right? So we'll still post the content ourselves by clicking, post, but we'll create the content with AI and then post it directly to, for example, X or to YouTube or other platforms. So we still post it manually, but we create it with AI. And I think that's the best combination because then as well you can easily go from there. And then, for example, if we have a look at the results from that, right? So if we go over here, like we're just getting more and more views from X, the better we get at automating content. So, for example, we actually have a full workflow where you can automate content using the AI Profit Boardroom community. But you can see here, for example, our impressions are up, engagement reach is up, engagement is up, right? And that's using X automation. We find the same thing, for example, on Reddit as well. So if we have a look at the Reddit AI SEO Insider, this is a community that we own. And all the content is automated with AI, but again, we post it manually. And if we have a look at the results so far, you can see how many people we reach over the last 30 days, right? So 104,000 people inside the air. Yeah. And the workflow for that is inside the air profit boardroom too. But you can see how we just basically automate content. We post it on X, we post it on Reddit, and it tends to perform pretty well. Now, Johnny9 says, I heard YouTube is cracking down on AI automation videos. Is that true? I haven't seen that at all. Like if you look at a lot of the best performing AI channels on YouTube, for example, in the AI niche, they're performing better than ever. And personally, our results with YouTube are getting better and better the more we use AI. There's two things to note though, right? So if you're using AI, and we have a full workflow for this, like I was saying before, but basically you want to make sure that inside the video, you are transparent that you're an avatar, right? So, for example, we always publicly announce that we are a digital avatar. And then also inside the content, we will mark it as AI content, like you can see right there, right? So we actually mark the content itself as AI on YouTube. And since we've been doing that, like we get really good results, right? So, for example, we can publish more content and our content tends to get more views and it tends to outperform the human content, right? So if I'm just creating human content, it doesn't perform as well as generating AI content. It's actually one of the reasons that I do the live streams is I still want to connect with people, but my human videos don't perform as well. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll do live streams and then I can reach more people by creating human content. But honestly, like AI avatar videos pretty much outperform me every time, right? Can you automate the AI check or do you have to do it manually? What do you mean, sorry? The AI check for what? I really like your videos, Vijesh. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching. What else we got here? I'm already getting more traffic and I've done only one thing from the SEO lessons. Oh, that's awesome. Good to see you getting results. Yeah, it is insane. Like, I mean, just to recap, so if you go to the classroom here and then you scroll down to the AI SEO automation section, you'll get our best AI SEO automations. And also, if you're a member of the AI Profit Boardroom, you get free access to the SEO Elite Circle, right? As long as you're an active member. So if you go to the SEO Elite Circle, you also get all of our other best AI SEO strategies here, right? And yeah, like the thing that I've seen is like AI automation with AI SEO is a cheat code, right? You can see our results here. We went from like 50 clicks in October all the way up to, I think we hit a max of like 211 clicks per day. So our traffic quadrupled with AI SEO. And yeah, works really well. What else we got here? Elise says, hey, Julian, I'm from Manchester. I'm from Manchester too. Always good to meet a fellow Mancunian. Karen says, great work. Your work has really helped me a lot. That's the goal. So thank you so much. I'm really glad. Like on NA10, I still don't know what you mean. Like, can you automate the AI check or do you have to do it manually like on NA10? Not sure what you mean. And Johnny9 says, yeah, I really love your human video content. The AI feels fake, but as you said, it gets good views. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I would love it. Like if my human videos did well, I would create way more of them and I would create them more often. But it's like AI avatar seems to outperform me every time. It's also the same on X, right? So if you have a look at our, this is pretty interesting too, right? So if you have a look at our content that performs the best on X, like you can see right here, and we'll pull these up. So for example, like this one, let's see what other videos perform well. We're just gonna have a look over the last, let's have a look over the last 3 months to see which videos perform the best. And we'll sort this by impressions. All right, so we'll take a look at our top 5 best performing posts, right, on X. And if we have a look, that is an AI avatar video. That is an AI avatar video. That's a human one. AI avatar. Human. AI avatar. All right, and so like 4 out of our 6 top performing posts on X as well are AI avatar videos as well. And so like, you know, the AI avatar process, it outperforms me. And I've been doing YouTube for 5 years. So let alone someone who's, you know, just new to the game. Like, can you imagine how difficult it would be for them to outperform an AI avatar? Like, it'd be almost impossible. I wanted to perform on X with AI. Do you have any tips? Yeah. So you want to check out, let me show you our system, right? This is our system for using X with AI. And I'll actually run through it live with you, right? So if you want to get results, this is how you do it, right? This is our process anyway. So what we're going to do from here is we're going to open up this workflow, like you can see. And I'm going to open up this Claude project, the Twitter poster. And what we typically do, here's our whole process, right? And this is how we get on X how many views. Let's have a look. Yeah, so I mean, this week, for example, we reached 381,000 people in one day. So how do we do that? Well, what we do is we post a lot of content, we analyze the hooks, and we see which hooks perform the best, right? And which ones perform the worst, like you can see here. We'll track the number of views per tweet, and then we get a lot of data using AI to figure out, okay, what's our best performing hooks so that we can do more of that, and what's our worst performing hooks. And then what we actually do is we go into Claude, like you can see right here. So we go into Claude, inside the instructions, we use these instructions, as you can see, for making sure that the AI actually follows our instructions. And we have a list of the top 10% hooks for Claude to copy, and then we have a list of the bottom 10% hooks for Claude to avoid, like you see right here, the bottom 8%, right? And then what we do is every time I create a tweet, we will download the video. So we can go to YouTube here. We'll download the video, like you see, and we're just going to go to YouTube and download an example. So let's get that one. We'll open that up on YouTube whilst it's downloading. And then we're going to go to the description, grab the transcript of the video, like you can see here. We're going to go over to Claude, paste in the transcript, and then we'll upload the video to X whilst we're waiting, right? Now, as you can see, this literally takes like 1 or 2 minutes, but it creates really good outputs. As you can see, and now it's creating the tweet, right? So it's uploading the video in the background here, and then we're automating the tweet using this project. And all we have to do is paste in the transcript. Then we copy this, and you see how we've got the output in code. The reason that we code it out instead is so that we can easily just copy and paste it with the same formatting into X, right? So it's got the bolded top line, everything's on a new line. It literally takes 2 seconds to do this, and then boom, we can post it, right? Now, when we do that as well, what we're going to do is take the link to the tweet. We're going to put that back into our spreadsheet, and we just put the details of the post, the date, so for example, today, and then the hook, which is this one, so the first 2 lines, and we paste that into the hook section there, right? And then we've got the number, the date, the post, and the hook. And we just automated X, and that's what I'd recommend. And then, you know, really, it's a volume game, right? So if you want to get attention, you have to create a lot of posts, and that's the same for any platform when it comes to marketing. So the other thing as well is when you post at volume, you get better and better, and you get better quicker. right? Because you get more reps. It's like the gym. But if you don't create enough volume, you won't get the results because you just don't have the results you need, right? You don't have the data and everything else. What else we got here? Karen says, "What are the must-have subscriptions for an e-commerce brand?" So, I mean, like, HeyGen, 11 Labs, Claude, they're going to help you a lot. And then the one that nobody talks about for e-commerce is Axio. Axio is a AI agent that's created by Alibaba, right? And you can get a free trial of it, so you can check it out for free. And if we actually look, for example, it can create these awesome e-commerce workflows. So for example, here I've said design custom jerseys for baseball games, should be cotton, breathable. And then it's actually searched the web, searched Alibaba, searched Amazon, and created the design concepts for the product, sourcing recommendations, why it's designed that way, the concepts, and sourcing and manufacturing insights, right? So it's pretty cool. Here's another one. So we analyzed market trends in the pet products niche, and then actually found a bunch of key market findings, high traction product categories, and it created an awesome document like you can see, right? And the final one is this AI super agent can also, for example, analyze bestsellers in our niche. So actually analyze, for example, travel backpacks, like you can see, put them into a nice table, searched all the top places on the web for this, and actually recommended some suggestions in terms of how to improve it, plus where to source it and that sort of thing. So I'd go with Axio. That's the one that most people don't know about, but it's super useful. And you can get a free version of it as well. Anderson says, if you automate the video generation and publishing, does it automatically check the generated option? Or yeah, like I say, we just publish manually to these platforms, right? So for example, if my team create AI avatar video, they're going to upload it manually to YouTube. I would still recommend posting manually. You know, the reason for that is like these platforms, they don't want people like automating loads of content. So if you look at X, they honestly, they don't mind like a human edited process with AI, but they wouldn't want like 1,000 people tweeting out 100 tweets a day on autopilot, because that's just going to be trash, right? There's going to be a lot of bad stuff in there. And so instead, what I recommend is like you post manually yourself and then go from there. That's typically like the best way to do this. Rex says, "What up, fam? Is all your AI avatar outsourced to a VA?" Yep. So I don't create the AI avatar videos myself. My team does. And if you want a workflow for that, just go to the classroom. This is exactly the same workflow and video that we give to our team to train them up and get them onboarded quickly. So you can take this process, get the video, get the prompts inside the AI Profit Boardroom, go to the playbook, and then you can give that process to your team and build a team like we've done, right? So yeah. Do you have any videos or lessons for publishing apps made through Gems or Anti-Gravity to the Apple Store, or any free ones, which are examples of ones you made? Yeah, so actually, if you type in apps here, you can actually see that Vladimir did this inside the AI Profit Boardroom, right? And you can see here he said, "I've built an app that lets you enter your daily wins, something you've achieved. Then it uses AI to generate weekly, monthly, yearly summaries." And he said, "When I first saw the summary for the first time, I almost cried because of how awesome it was. It took me a month to build the web version, submit iOS and Android apps, right? It's quite basic, has a few bugs, missed some features, but basically submitted it on the App Store, right? Which is pretty cool." So he's creating a lot of stuff. Vladimir, he's inside the AI Profit Boardroom if you want to connect with him. And he's creating other stuff like Chrome extensions as well and that sort of thing. So yeah, if you want to see how people do that, just post in the app off of boarding and you can get some help on that. Johnny says, "I notice you're pushing content out almost every day. Do you sleep?" Yeah, so I mean, like, obviously it's not me creating the content, right? Like, it's my team. So we have a big team, my agency. It's not me that's creating it, and also it's scheduled for later, right? So you can publish content throughout the day, but it's all scheduled for later. Really, as a business owner, like the only thing that I work on is like building new systems and hiring and delegating, right? And managing my team. Like I don't really do a lot of the work myself. That's how I have time, for example, to jump on a live stream like this and just answer some questions because I have a lot of leverage. I have a good team. Um, and we can create content, schedule it, post a lot of volume, and we can post across multiple different platforms. So inside the AI Profit Warning, we actually cover 50 different platforms that we publish to inside the playbooks and the content automations and that sort of thing. So you know, like we can create a lot of content at volume because I'm constantly building out new systems that are going to help us generate content across every different platform and grow from there. Johnny says, what software is your AI avatar using? So we use a combination of HeyGen and 11 Labs for the voice. Now, there's a lot more to it than that, but those are the tools that we use. And then if you want the full workflow for that, go inside the classroom here, playbook, boom. You can get the full screen share avatar process right here. You can steal it from us. And Karen says, you have a team of how many people? So we have a team of over 50 people. Bear in mind, like I mean, at this point, like it's almost like running an empire, right? Like we have over 100 clients at our SEO agency. We have 2,100 members inside the app for boardroom. We reach over 100 million people per year with our content. So at that point, like you need a big team of people who can help you. But I actually love having a team and it's so useful. Cheers, keep up the great work. Your personal, what part of tools do you enjoy the best? So for me, for personal, like honestly, I just do the basics. Like for example, on the personal side, I'll use ChatGPT for tracking my macros, day to day. So for example, if I tell ChatGPT what I ate today, then it'll give me some macros. So for example, let's plug this in. We're gonna put, oh, actually I've done it over here. You can see it over here, right? So I literally just plug in what I ate that day, and then it breaks down like all the macros that I can just paste into a spreadsheet. So that's like one of the most important ones that I use for personal. And then Claude for like personal for getting ideas and stuff like that. So that is it for the Claude Q&A, sorry, the AI automation Q&A. That's how to automate and build better than 99% of people. You've seen all my best workflows on, for example, automating AI SEO content on YouTube and X, how I've grown, how I build my team, some of my best workflows, etc. And if you want to get more help and advice on this, join the AI Profit Boardroom, link in the comments description. You can connect with me personally inside there. We actually have an awesome offer on right now. So if you go to this section here, you'll see what we're offering right now when you join the AI Profit Boardroom. So you get a lot of stuff. As you can see, all my best frameworks, playbooks, processes. If you want to learn how I, for example, create content or avatar content, well, we put that all inside here. And also, we do 4 weekly coaching calls. So you can jump on the coaching calls and get help and that sort of thing. Inside the community here, you can ask questions and get help and support. You can see today, for example, I've created videos personally for people who have asked questions inside the AI Profit Boardroom. And yeah, we're good to go on this. Anderson says, do you do this every week? So if you want to check out the calendar for calls, you can check that out right here inside the AI Profit Boardroom community. And then Karen says, what's your opinion on GLM 4.7? Really good, really powerful. Yeah, one of my favorite so far, actually, to be honest. It's super powerful, really good. I love using the agent inside the chat interface as well. All right. So today we're going to be looking at Ralph Claude Code, which is basically like a powerful way to create an infinite loop and just let your agents run on autopilot and just autonomously go off, cycle through, and create stuff. So, for example, normally, like if you're inside Claude Code, let me show you an example. So, if you're inside Claude Code here, and you've got something that you're creating, right? It's not just going to run off in the background. Like it's going to require like a lot of back and forth. You're going to have to go off and reply to it. It's going to be super annoying, etc. And it takes a long time as well, right? So what you can actually do is if you open up Ralph Claude instead, Ralph for Claude Code, then you can allow this to just autonomously run on an infinite loop until it improves stuff. The other cool thing about using this AI agent with Claude is that it can track progress, but it can repeat stuff until the project is complete. So it never gets stuck, right? It's just an agent running in the background for hours and hours and hours until it finally gets stuff done. And as an example of this, you can see a tweet from Kazala here. It says, "This Ralph thing is insane. It took me months to develop the second runtime to generate this, whereas Claude with Ralph just ran with the task and when she woke up in the morning or when they woke up in the morning, after a few iterations, it solved all the issues, right? And this is the power of Ralph Claude. Like loads of people are raving about it, but a lot of people don't know how to set this up yet. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do this, right? So what we can do here is we can grab the GitHub like so, and then we can just set up a new folder. So let's add a new folder here. All right, so we'll call that Ralph. And then inside Claude Code, this is by the way, it's a free program, right? You can use it for free. We're going to open up the folder that we just created. So we'll open up Ralph here. And we're going to say, okay, open this up. We trust that. And then inside Claude Code, which you could run inside the desktop, by the way, there was a new update inside Claude this week where if you go to Claude Desktop, then you go to the code section at the top, so you can switch between chat and code. You can run Claude Code inside Claude Desktop right here. So you see how, for example, I have to allow everything when Claude Code is running. With Ralph, it just runs off on autopilot. So we'll come back to that in a second. Let's wait for it to load and open this up. The other option as well is you can just install it like this. So if we go to terminal like so, we can just go inside the terminal, clone this, copy these commands, and then open this up. As you can see right here. So we can take this command, go into terminal, plug that in, and we're good to go. In fact, to be fair, it's way faster to just run it inside the terminal. Now we're going to navigate to it. As you can see right here. And then in the prompt.md file, you can describe your project requirements. Like you can see here, so you can edit this. Then we're going to hit save. And then once we've edited the prompt.md of our requirements, we can just start Ralph, right? So let's go to the terminal here. If you get any errors, just paste them in to Claude. And then we'll say, right, so we have to install TMUX as well. Once we've done that, we're going to run this. So we're going to say, would you like to create a new Ralph project? I'm going to say yes. We'll just go with my app as a generic project name. We'll allow that. And then it says, do you want to, so basically the prompt.md is a file that you're going to edit, like you can see in Anti-Gravity right here, to prompt Ralph into what it needs to do, right? So you prompt it right here in terms of what it's going to build. And then from there, you can edit the document, save it, and that's how Ralph knows what to build, right? Now, if we go inside here and we'll say, okay, can you edit this? It's for a dopamine inducing snake game that's 3D, something like that, right? So now it's opening up the prompt.md file. And as you can see right here, it's going to open that up. This is the default one with the templates, but then it's added this bit, right? So you are Ralph, an autonomous AI development agent working on a 3D snake game, as you can see right here. We're going to allow that. And it's beginning to write in like the technical specifications. So 3D snake game, overview, the tech stack, core gameplay, the mechanics, etc. And then it's ready to start now, right? So it's set it all up. It's set up and configured the prompt. It's like, this will start Ralph autonomously building your 3D Snake game. Want me to start it? We'll say yes. And now it's just looping through. And we can monitor it. So if we go to the terminal here, we can open up Ralph Monitor and see what it's working on. And this will refresh every 2 seconds with the details, right? So we can see the progress, the loops, the loop count, etc. Marine says when it runs in the background, is this running on theirs or our services? So it's running locally on your laptop, right? So you can see here, it's running locally, but obviously it's using Claude Code and your API with Claude Code, which is online, to loop it through. And then it will just keep refreshing every 2 seconds, like you can see over here in the terminal. Then if you want to stop it, like you can see here, we've actually stopped it. Just you can say like, can you restart it or can you stop it, etc. Right inside your Claude Code session. So this Claude Code session is connected to the Ralph loop over here. And so if you ever want to stop, you can always press like I think it's Command and C as well inside the chat here. But you can control it as well inside Claude directly, as you can see, just by setting up that Ralph loop directly inside there from the GitHub. And then if you want to start it up again, you can just use a command like this, as you can see. And if you, or you can just watch it live in your terminal using this command right here. But that's basically how you can set up Claude Code, as you can see. With Ralph, this is the Ralph monitor, the status dashboard, etc. That will run on an infinite loop to edit the prompt and actually prompt Ralph to do the work. You just change the project MD file, like you can see right here. If you ever need to stop it, go back to your Claude chat and then just tell it to stop the agent, or just press Command C in the terminal. And then if you actually want to open up the GitHub directly inside Claude Code, then just paste the GitHub details and ask it to run it. That's the simplest and easiest way. If you have multiple projects, like you can see here, and you need the command for opening up like this, then you can just screenshot the page here, paste it into Claude, and just say terminal command to run this. It will give you the terminal command like you see. And then if we want to run that as well, we can just press Control and C inside the chat, paste in the command, boom, start running it like you can see. And then it will tell you how many minutes it's been running, what it's doing, what it's working on, etc. So it's pretty cool. I mean, the benefits of Ralph are basically that, you know, it can automate coding and just run on a loop automatically in the background. You might be wondering, okay, what is this? Why would you use it? Well, Ralph Claude Loop is a plugin for Claude that turns it into basically like a non-stop AI worker. So instead of generating code once and stopping it, Claude will just keep going, right, until the task is actually complete, fixing bugs, testing code automatically, and that sort of thing. And it's a huge shift from like the typical one and done approach that most AI tools use. Now, how it works, you basically write a prompt, add the completion signal, set a max retry limit, launch a loop, right? And then why would you use this? Well, you could use it for example, some of these examples. One of the most important ones that I've seen a lot of people do is just build whilst they're sleeping, right? So they can have this coding out, like you can see here, and building stuff whilst they're not working at all, which is pretty cool. I'm just going to terminate that. And then what makes this different versus just using something like Claude Code, where it's like you give it the end goal, not every step. Claude figures out the path, it checks its own work and self iterates, it learns from its previous tries, it works with live GitHub repos and real projects, and it has built in monitoring, error filtering, and rate limiting, right? And if you want to get all the setup instructions plus an extra tutorial on exactly how this works, you can get that inside the AI Success Lab, completely free. Link in the comments description. This connects you with 45,100 people, as you can see. And also, if you want to get an amazing AI automation community that helps you grow and learn with AI and automate your business, check out the AI Profit Boardroom. Inside the community, you can post any questions, get help and support whenever you need it. You can see all the people winning with AI, like you can see right here. And also inside the question section, if you have a question, people will help you a lot. So you can see here, for example, Maddie had a question. 28 people got back to Maddie just to help her and get her, the support she needs. Also, inside the calendar, you get 4 weekly coaching calls a week. So you can jump on a call with an AI automation expert, get help and support whenever you need it. And inside the classroom here, you can learn how to go from complete beginner to expert with AI automation in just 5 weeks. You'll learn how to build your first AI agent in under 5 minutes. You'll get my full processes for using AI avatar videos and automating those, plus how we automate, for example, Twitter and newsletters and shorts and everything else, right? And even emails. And then, for example, if you want to learn how to get more clients and how to land more clients, you can check out the agency course. If you want to basically grow a YouTube channel like me, you can check out the 6-week roadmap right here. And if you want to rank #1 like we do as well, then you can check out the AI SEO automation section. So feel free to check that out. Link in the comments and description to the AI Profit Boardroom. Cheers for watching. We got a few questions here, so let's see what we got. It says, what is he working on? Ralph and Claude Code. Alston says, coding with Claude Code, regardless of Claude Opus, consumes the credits very fast. If I subscribe to the Plus plan, any better options? So, it's the same thing, right? I made a Gemini gem for PowerShell for running terminal commands. Pretty cool. AI brand building says, you ever get issues with deploying sub-agents properly? I keep trying to deploy sub-coding agents for smaller features. Check out my video on Automaker. So basically what that will do is, like, if you have loads of features, it will turn everything into a Kanban board, and then you can just press make, right? And that will just go off and like make stuff for you. Let me show you an example, just so I can be really clear on this. So if you go to my video on Automaker here, this one, we can basically set up a Kanban board like you can see right here. And whatever project you have, if you have like a backlog of features, you can get these sub agents to create the tasks. So you just click on make here or make here, and it will go off and build separate tasks with multiple agents. That's one of the easiest ways to do it. You can set this up with Claude Code and Automaker, which is a free GitHub. And then from there, you've got a nice UI where you can host it and test it. Scully says, Goldie Pop, that's what we're talking about. Thank you very much. What about advanced AI generalists? Not sure what you mean. You need to use Obsidian mode. Yeah, I've heard a lot about Obsidian. I've not tested it, but yeah. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it as always, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers, peeps. Bye-bye.